Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play. This time around, it is Tax Avoiders for the Atari 2600, which is honestly one of the weirdest game ideas I have ever seen in my entire life. In this game, you have to spend a year trying to get $1 million without getting your money taken away from you by the IRS. And while it is arcade-style fun, it's also something that feels like an acquired taste because you really have to figure a whole bunch of stuff out just to figure out how to play this game even remotely well and then try to get the highest score that you possibly can. I managed to spend some time with this game, and thankfully, I was able to do just that. Do I ever get $1 million in this game? No, because that requires just as much luck as skill, but I have a good time trying anyway. And now you're going to see me do just that. The game begins with you on this single arcade-style screen, where you have to pick up the green $ symbols while avoiding the red tape symbols. The green $ signs give you $2,000, while the red tape takes away $2,000. The more dollar signs that you pick up, the more money you'll be able to play with in the next section, which begins on February 11th. Your current score or money is at the top of the screen, while the current day is at the lower left. Sometimes I'm forced to wait for the elevator to show up so I can get to the higher floors, and sometimes that takes longer than other times. Now for this screen, I wait for this guy to turn green. This guy who's running at me. The guy who's not wearing brown and running around like crazy. I get a TV. I go to the TV, I pick it up, and I take it to the briefcase that shows up in the lower left-hand corner. When I touch the briefcase, that investment, which is a media investment, it goes into a tax shelter that the IRS cannot touch. Sometimes when I pick up an investment, I may make money on it, like I may gain $1,000 a day. Sometimes I'll lose $1,000 a day. As long as I'm fast with getting the same investment over and over again, in this case a TV, I can get a ton of money. So the guy who's running around, who's all one color, he is a different person depending on when you touch him. If he's black, he is an IRS agent who will take away half of your money and send you straight to the next section. You do not want to touch the guy when he is black. If he is pink, he is a CPA who will direct you to a random investment for a small fee of $1,000. If he is green, he is an investment advisor whose advice is free and will always take you to the investment that will help you make the most money, which is usually the TV in my case. And once you get past the second section, which is the audit section, you get to do this whole part with the dollar signs and the red tape all over again until May 21st. So again, I wait for this guy to turn green. I get the TV. Then I get it back in the briefcase, and I do all this as soon as possible. Then, while I'm getting money, I wait for this guy to turn pink. And in this case, I actually got the TV just at random, so I wasn't able to have... I didn't have to wait until later for the guy to turn green. Now I'm going to wait for him to turn green because I touched him when he was pink again. Once I put an investment in the tax shelter, I have to wait for the guy to turn pink again, then turn green, and then I can ensure that I always get the TV. And that's pretty much how I make it so I always get the most money. And as much as I would like to touch the guy when he is pink, I don't do that. Because, one, I don't have time, and two, if I had an investment out on the screen, when I got sent back to the dollars and red tape section on July 21st, I would have lost a ton of money. I wouldn't have over $500,000 like I do at this very moment in this video. And at this point, there's not much in the way of dollar signs for me to grab here. I do have to admit. Now I have to wait for this guy to turn green. And there's a TV. I always get the TV because it always gets me the most money. Whether I gain money or lose money after grabbing it, and whether or not I gain money or lose it after I put it in the tax shelter is completely random. But the gain or loss always stops when I touch the guy who is running around whenever he is pink, whenever he is in the CPA form. So in case I'm losing money on anything I put in the tax shelter, it'll pretty much stop the hemorrhage of points that I am losing. And once again, I have to wait on this guy. I go for the TV, and then I get it to the tax shelter. And I make this look really, really easy. You have to be at just the right distance to climb the ladders with up and down, which is really hard to do. Sometimes I'm in position, other times I'm not. And figuring out how best to do that really takes practice. Also, the elevator, it continually moves up and down even when you can't see it. And because of that, sometimes getting back on the elevator can be a massive pain in the butt. And once we reach December 7th, we'll reach the last audit section. There's the work section and the audit section. And I don't have much time to get a TV or two, so I just really have to hoof it just to get those last points. And since I'm running out of time, I just let the points just rack up. And I end up with just over $850,000. Anyway, the controls are simple. You're playing as the guy in the brown, John Q. Public. You move him around with left and right, and pressing this fire button lets you jump forward. Up lets you jump on the ladders, or lets you climb the ladders, rather. And holding up all the way lets you get to the next platform. Getting into the correct distance to grab onto a ladder and climb up, as well as getting the right distance so you can jump from one platform to another, can be a little tricky sometimes. I made this look a lot easier than it actually is. And once you figure out what I did, and you're able to pull off things like I did, or perhaps even better, you too can get a whole bunch of money. Though getting to $1 million can be a bit difficult because, again, it requires a lot of luck as much as it requires a lot of skill. But it's still fun once you have stuff figured out. And that was Tax Avoiders for the Atari 2600, a game that was conceived by a former IRS agent and licensed tax consultant named Daryl Wagner, and developed by independent investment advisor registered with the SEC named Todd Clark Holm. It was I believe it was programmed by Dunhill Electronics Company. I don't think they ever made any other games. And if I do, I might as well just go ahead and put them up on the video for those who are interested. And as I said, this is a really weird little game. And since I've done as well as I can with it, I might as well go ahead and do my little mini review of the game. The graphics are pretty simple. The platforms are all black. You have a different colored background for each specific month of the year. And you can easily identify what everything is. Really not much to complain or even describe, but what's there is there and it works. The sound of music, there's not music, but there are plenty of arcade-style beeps, and I can live with them. They're not bad. The play control. It's easy to figure out, but in the audit section, where you're not picking up the dollar signs and you're instead trying to make sure you don't run in the IRS agent and you're trying to put investments into tax shelter, as I mentioned, it can be a little tricky getting just at the right position near the ladder in order to climb up it, as well as sometimes figuring out where you need to be to jump from one platform to another. It can be a little weird. Plus, sometimes I think I'm going to fall when I'm not, and I have to get my character to fall so that way I can get to the tax shelter. Pretty much like what happened at the end there. The control has a few nitpicks, but it is, again, something that you can get used to, and once you're used to it, you can pretty much get on those ladders just about any time. And replay value, your mileage may vary with this one. You may either just play it the one time, or you may play it just a couple more times just to try to figure things out. I kind of had to use YouTube to figure things out in my specific case, especially watching the No Swear Gamers runs of the game. One where he gets over $850,000 and another one where he gets just over $920,000. Again, getting $1 million in this game can be difficult. As I said at the beginning of the game, or beginning of the video rather, it can be a bit of an acquired taste. If I hadn't said that at the beginning of the video, I'm going to say it now. It's a bit of an acquired taste. Either you get it or you don't. And if you get it, you're going to get a lot more enjoyment out of this than if you don't. And do I recommend getting this game? It's worth trying out at least. And if you get it, you might end up liking it, in which case I say go ahead. If you end up not liking it, well, I can't fault you for that. Nevertheless, this is one weird game that's at least worth looking at once. Not many other games like it before or since. And that was Let's Play Tax Avoiders for the Atari 2600. Hopefully I'll be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, maybe it'll be somewhere in between, who knows. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and see you guys later!